tripod sorted. Hope you had a lovely weekend. Okay, so, oops. We'll just wait for some people to arrive and then we'll get started. So, whilst you're waiting, make sure you've got a drink. Monday, another week, and we're still breathing, hopefully. Okay. Well, I'm just going to get started, and then as people arrive, they can join in. So, if you've done any of these sessions before, you'll know that we like to stand in the position where our feet are hip distance apart. So, if you don't know how to find that, you can feel around here until you find your hip bones. Point your finger down, and then you want your big toe to be just under the hip bones. Knees slightly bent so that we're not holding, so we're not sort of locking them tight. We want to have as little tension and pressure wherever possible. We don't want any of our muscles to be working that don't need to be, so that we don't just tire ourselves out. So, we are going to swing from our hips and just let our arms flap round. And this is going to warm us up and just hopefully just shake out a little bit of general tension that might be held in our bodies. If, like me, you haven't done very much over the weekend and you've been quite sleepy, you'll probably be feeling all these clicks and things like this, but that's okay, you know, just be gentle but getting rid of all these knots and things that have accumulated. Okay, and shake it out. Excellent. Okay. So, last week we were focusing on our necks. This week we're going to focus on our shoulders. We're going to raise them up and then drop them down. And up and down. And up and down. Now we're going to circle them backwards. And so the thing is, each week I've decided I'm going to just sort of pick on a body part. Like I said, last week it was the neck and the other way. I'm doing the shoulders now. It's a place where lots of people hold tension. Hopefully during these sessions you're going to gradually get to know your own body and discover what parts of your body hold more tension than others, so that in any situation you can know, oh, I need to check my shoulders or my hands or, you know, whatever, wherever you hold your tension. Okay, we'll just circle our arms around, backwards, and the other way. And now start with your arms up, have one go forward and one go back. Some people can do this, some people can't, it's so funny. And the other way. Don't worry if you end up both arms going in the same direction. I find it helps to sort of swing your body a little bit, but if you can't do it, it doesn't really matter, it's just quite fun. Okay, and shake it out. Okay, excellent. So now we're going to stand in our position, feet hip distance apart, and we're just going to breathe. But whilst you're breathing, and hopefully if anybody's back from a previous session, you already are going to start to roughly know what to be trying to think about as you're breathing. But don't worry, I'm going to talk you through it, so if you're new, and even if you're not, repetition's good. So I don't want you to be thinking of your breathing as taking a breath in. The way I want you to think of it is that all of your muscularity with your breathing is to push the air out, and then to breathe in you're going to relax and the air is going to flood back in automatically. So you don't take the breath in, you just allow it in. And the way that that works is if you can feel it yourself if you like, under your ribs, is where your diaphragm sits. And your diaphragm is a big muscle that helps you to breathe. So with our diaphragm, we're going to push the air out of our lungs, and then we're just going to relax. And the air will just come back in. So that's how we're breathing right now. And to sort of add to help us to envisage this, we're going to add some arm movements as well, where when we breathe out, we're going to bring our arms up like this, and that represents pushing the air out. And when we relax and breathe in, we're going to go like this, and that's going to represent the diaphragm dropping and then the rib cage expanding as it fills with air. So first we're just going to focus on the breathing, and we're just going to be thinking about this. And we're going to get in a little rhythm. We're just going to bend and straighten our knees, hopefully without too much clicking. When the legs are straight, keep them slightly bent or at least loose. We don't want them locked straight. We don't want any sort of jerky movements, just nice and fluid sort of bending. And then once we get into our little rhythm, we're going to add the arm movements. So out, and in, and out. Relax with the diaphragm. Out. The next one, we're going to go to the side. Very good, and shake it up. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing, where we're going to stand with our feet hip distance apart. We're going to find a spot on the wall, which is roughly our own eye level. If you're able to look in a mirror, that's great, because then you can just look into your own eyes. It's also good because as your different tensions and bad posture habits creep in, you'll be able to see them. I say this each time, but you know, it's sometimes hard to know what it feels like when your body's in the right position, because if you're so used to having, for example, me, I would hold this shoulder up, and if that's what feels normal and straight and balanced, then when I would stand a bit more straight, it would actually feel, it felt like I was like this, you know, so sometimes looking in a mirror is quite helpful. So you're just going to breathe again, and you're going to focus on pushing the breath out, and then relaxing, dropping your diaphragm, and just inviting the air back in. Very good, okay. So on your next breath, I want you to channel the breath to the spot on the wall that you're looking at. And you're just going to push it out, try and get all the air out. When you think all the air's out, try and push a little bit more out, and then you're going to hold it, and then you're going to relax and feel the diaphragm dropping, air flooding back in. Very good. If when you get to the end of the breath, if you need to use your hands and just squeeze your ribs a little bit at the end to just get that last little bit of air out, that's absolutely fine. We're going to switch when you get to the end of whatever breath you're on. We're going to do a f sound, so we don't want to be too close. Some people go like this. That's not very helpful because it's difficult to get enough air out quickly enough. So we want it to be nice and loose. nice and sort of open so that there's space for the air to come out. So when you're ready, when you get to the end of whatever breath you're on, we're going to just switch. So don't try and hold back any air. You want to just keep pushing, pushing, pushing. Don't worry if you feel like your breath isn't lasting as long as either me or the person next to you or wherever you are. Or if I stop sooner than you, you just keep going, because we're stretching ourselves and we're trying to push out all the air. If you hold on to any of the air, then you'll find as you need to breathe in again, you just breathe air on top of air, and then you're sort of hyperventilating. So you just need to push out all the air. Don't worry about breathing in. Just when you get to the end of the breath, push a bit more, hold it, and then just relax, and the air will just come in. We're going to switch now to a shh sound. Sorry about that, I don't know. Then we'll switch now to a shh sound. And I want you to be imagining you've got a string coming out of the top of your head, holding your head up so that your neck's nice and long, shoulders down, elbows out but relaxed, knees slightly bent. Go through all the parts of your body as you're doing it as part of your routine, so that if anything has got tension or any tension creeps in, you can try and just relax it. Okay, that's really good. So when you get to the end of the breath that you're on, shake it all out. Excellent. Okay, let's see. So we're gonna, if you want to walk around a little bit whilst we do this next exercise, that can help to just sort of free you up, prevent tension creeping in. I'll demonstrate so that then you can get started whilst I explain what's happening. It's going to sound a little bit like this. Ooh, yeah, yeah. So we're going to do the same thing with the breathing, where we're just pushing the air out. When you get to the end, you're going to just hold it for a sec, relax, the air's going to flood back in. You're making any sounds that you like. You're trying to warm up your face, any sort of shapes and sounds, the highest parts of your register, the lowest parts of your register. And it does look and feel a bit silly, but it means you're in control of which parts of your voice you're stretching and how you're doing it. So we'll just do that for a little bit. Like I say, if you want to walk around, that's fine. If you want to sit down or stand up or however you want to be. If you're sitting down, just make sure you don't cross your legs. And yeah, so let's start, or hopefully you started already. come to the end of whatever breath you're on and we'll shake it out. So get back into your position, feet hip distance apart, find your spot, shoulders nice and down, neck nice and long, everything just nice and relaxed. So I want you to look at your spot and then close your eyes so that you're in the right position. And now we're just going to breathe normally. You can breathe through your mouth, breathe through your nose, whatever's comfortable. All I want you to think about whilst you're breathing though is just pushing the air out with your diaphragm and then just dropping your diaphragm when you relax, and you just invite the air to come back in. It just floods in automatically. So I just want you to breathe, and if somewhere in your mind's eye you're able to visualize what's going on inside with the diaphragm pushing, that's great. Some people are a bit squeamish, so if you want to think of it as being balloons, or if you want to think of the bellows like I showed last week, I'll bring that tomorrow. Pushing the air out of your lungs with your diaphragm, and then just relaxing, dropping the diaphragm, the air floods back in, pushing and relaxing. And now as you're breathing, I want you to just listen very closely to any sounds that you can hear outside of the room that you're in. It might be a car driving past, it might be wind in the trees, it might be completely silent where you are, but then that's what you're going to listen to. And breathe through the whole thing, and all the stresses and worries of the week to come, and post-lockdown anxiety or whatever's going on in your life just melts away, and you're just listening to all the sounds outside the room you're in, whilst you're pushing the air out of your lungs with your diaphragm, and then just relaxing, dropping your diaphragm, and the air just floods back in. Be listening to all the sounds that are in the room that you're in. So it might be a radiator buzzing, there might be a dripping tap. Whatever you can hear, you're just going to listen to the room you're in whilst you push the air out of your lungs using your diaphragm, and then relax. Drop the diaphragm and the air floods back in. drop the diaphragm, allow the air to flood back in. And now you're going to take one step even closer, and you're just going to listen to all the sounds that your own body makes. You might hear your heart beating, you might hear yourself breathing, you might be completely silent. Then you're going to listen to that silence whilst you push the air out of your lungs using your diaphragm, and then relax. Drop your diaphragm, just allow the air to flood back into your lungs. Very good. Now I want you to connect all of those things. So you're going to keep pushing the air out of the lungs using your diaphragm. Then just relaxing, dropping the diaphragm, allowing the air to flood back in. But now you're going to listen to your own body, the room that you're in, and beyond the room that you're in. And you're going to kind of connect all of those things so that you feel yourself in this physical space by listening to all the sounds and just by breathing and pushing that air out of your lungs using your diaphragm, and then relaxing, just allowing the air to come back in. shake it out if you need to. Okay, so we're going to end the session as usual with a little sing-along. This week's song is This the Way to Amarillo? I've put a link in the description to the lyrics, so if you need them, I'll just give you a sec to find those lyrics. And I'll take this opportunity just to say there are a few other links in the description, one of which is my PayPal and Patreon. So basically I'm like a busker by nature, so everything I do is like for tips, but I want you to know that there's no obligation. It means a lot to me, you just being here, so you know, like if you want to join and you're not in a position to give money or you don't want to, that's absolutely fine. Everybody's welcome. So if you are able to give a little tip, that would be amazing, obviously, but it's also awesome for you to just be here. Okay, so I don't know this song very well, but we'll give it a go anyway, and hopefully by the end of the week we'll all know it, so hopefully you've got the lyrics by now, so we'll just give it a go. So whilst we're singing, just really quickly I want to say, whilst we're singing, I want you to kind of still have in mind this whole breathing idea where you're pushing out the breath with your diaphragm and then relaxing to take the breath in. So we don't want to have any, we're just going to allow the breath to come back in, we're not going to take the breath in, if you see what I mean. And it all kind of makes sense when you're singing anyway, because the singing is the pushing out the notes. But anyway, let's just get started. Sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la. When the day is dawning on a Texas Sunday morning, how I long to be there with Marie who's waiting for me there. Every lonely city where I lay my head, and his house is pretty, that's where my baby's at. Is this the way to Amarillo? Every night I'm hugging my pillow, dreaming dreams of Amarillo, and sweet Marie who waits for me. Show me the way to Amarillo. I've been weeping like a willow, dreaming dreams of Amarillo, and sweet Marie who waits for me. Sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la. There's a church bell ringing, and the sound of joy that it's singing for the sweet Maria, and the guy who's coming to see her just beyond the highway. There's an open plain, and it keeps me going through the wind and rain. Is this the way to Amarillo? Every night I'm hugging my pillow, dreaming dreams of Amarillo, and sweet Marie who waits for me. Show me the way to Amarillo. I've been weeping like a willow, crying over Amarillo, and sweet Marie who waits for me. Sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la. Very good, excellent session. Thank you so much. I will be back again tomorrow at 11 AM Greenwich Mean Time, and every weekday at 11. So hopefully I will see you again soon. Have a great week and lots of love. Bye.